The moment came at a time when no one expected it. One sentence, whispered in public yet reverberating across the world, shattered assumptions, rewrote headlines, and left the United Kingdom and much of the globe in stunned silence. "I'm divorcing Meghan." Just like that, Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, altered the story of a fairy tale marriage, turning it into a scandal no one could ignore. Can you imagine the shock, the disbelief, the immediate frenzy? It was the kind of announcement that makes the front pages tremble and the palace corridors fall into an unnatural hush. People paused mid-step on the streets, phones dropped to the pavement, television anchors stumbled over their words, and social media exploded into a frenzy of speculation, outrage, and curiosity. And yet, for all the spectacle, this was only the beginning. Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for updates. But why now? Why make such a declaration at this particular moment in time, when Harry's public image seemed carefully curated, when Meghan's reputation was at an all-time high, and when the royal family was already navigating a minefield of public scrutiny and private tension? The timing was deliberate, calculated, and, frankly, explosive. Imagine the countless meetings behind closed doors, the endless arguments, the sleepless nights, the whispers in the corridors of palaces stretching from Buckingham to Windsor. No one outside those walls knew the pressures, the personal betrayals, the moments of heartbreak that led to this announcement. And that is exactly what makes this story so magnetic. Because the surface of it, the headline, the soundbite, is shocking enough. But the undercurrent, the secret story that Harry had been holding, is far darker, more intricate, and more shocking than anyone dared to imagine. Think about it. A member of the British royal family, part of one of the most watched and scrutinized marriages in modern history, publicly declaring the end of his marriage. Not through a quietly arranged settlement or a statement crafted with lawyers and PR advisors, but through a statement so raw, so direct, it seemed almost impulsive. And yet, impulsive is a word that doesn't fit the Duke of Sussex. Harry is methodical. Harry is strategic. Every public move has been calculated for decades, from the decisions he's made in the spotlight to the choices he's made in private. So what did this announcement actually reveal? Was it freedom, revenge, truth, desperation, or something even more complicated? Imagine the scene inside the palace when word first reached the inner circle. Advisors scrambling, phones ringing off the hook, and the weight of the media storm pressing down like a tidal wave. What must it feel like to have your life dissected in public, your marriage reduced to a few words on a headline, your personal choices debated by millions who will never understand the pressures you face? And yet, Harry did it. He chose transparency over secrecy, chaos over calm, revelation over silence. But what pushed him over the edge? What made him decide that this was the moment to speak, to declare a divorce that would shake the monarchy to its core? To understand, we have to step back. Harry's journey hasn't been a straight line. It has been a complex path of love, loyalty, rebellion, and, sometimes, heartbreak. He grew up in a world of privilege and expectation, a world where every misstep is magnified, every choice scrutinized, and every relationship politicized. His life has been a balancing act between duty and desire, public expectation and private longing. When Meghan entered his life, she brought a whirlwind of passion, ambition, and independence, qualities that both complemented and challenged him. Together, they seemed unstoppable, a modern royal couple redefining tradition. Yet, beneath the glossy exterior, tension brewed. Differences emerged, pressures mounted, and the very institution that celebrated their love also tested it in ways most of us can only imagine. And somewhere in the middle of that storm, Harry reached a point of reckoning. He realized that staying silent, pretending everything was fine, or trying to navigate the royal protocols at all costs might no longer be an option. Now, imagine being in Meghan's shoes. To witness your partner publicly declare the end of your marriage in a way that shocks the entire nation, what does that feel like? Is it betrayal? Confusion? Anger? Pain? Perhaps all of it at once. And what about the family, the friends, the palace staff who have been entwined in this drama for years? Their loyalties are tested, their secrets threatened, and their very positions shaken. The ripple effect of such an announcement is enormous. Every press outlet, every news anchor, every social media influencer has a theory. Every public conversation now revolves around one question: what happens next? And that's where we come to the heart of why this story matters now. This isn't just a celebrity breakup or a private marital dispute. This is a moment where the personal collides with the political, where love, loyalty, ambition, and legacy all intersect in a way that very few in the world will ever experience. The stakes are monumental. Titles hang in the balance. Public perception shifts with every leaked statement, and reputations are made or destroyed by the hour. Harry's announcement wasn't just shocking for the words themselves. It was shocking because of the context, the timing, and the layers of secrecy that preceded it. And yet, for all the drama that spilled into the public sphere, there were questions left unanswered, whispers left unspoken, and secrets still locked away in palace archives. Why did Harry choose this moment? Why did he frame it in the way he did? What were the conversations, the confrontations, and the private reckonings that led up to it? And, perhaps most importantly, what does this mean for Meghan, for their children, and for the royal family at large? Every answer only leads to more questions. Every revelation teases another hidden truth waiting to emerge. By now, you may be asking yourself, how did it get to this point? What unseen pressures were mounting behind the polished headlines and the curated Instagram posts? The truth is messy. It involves personal grievances, media manipulation, palace politics, family dynamics, public opinion, and, most of all, the human emotion that drives even the most privileged individuals to act in ways that shock the world. Harry's announcement wasn't an isolated event. It was the culmination of years of tension, secrecy, and decision-making. And as we explore the layers of this story, you're going to see sides of Harry and Meghan no one outside the palace walls has ever witnessed. You'll witness loyalty challenged, love tested, and decisions made that may redefine not just their lives, but the perception of the monarchy itself. But here's the kicker. Even as the nation absorbed the news, even as headlines screamed across the UK and beyond, there was an even bigger story lurking just beneath the surface. Something no one saw coming. Something that would force us to question what we think we know about Harry, Meghan, and the royal family. And that, my friends, is what makes this story irresistible. Because while the announcement shocked the UK, the real shock, the secret that has been building for years, is still to come. So buckle up. Over the next hour, we're going to peel back the layers of this unprecedented royal revelation. We'll dive into Harry's private struggles, Meghan's responses, the palace's reaction, the media frenzy, and the hidden truths that no one wants you to know. And along the way, I'll ask the questions you've been thinking, the ones that make you lean closer to the screen. Why now? What really happened? And who, if anyone, is telling the whole truth? By the end of this video, you won't just know that Harry announced his divorce. You'll understand the storm that led to it, the secrets it exposed, and the consequences that are still unfolding. And just when you think you've grasped the full picture, be prepared. Because what comes next will change everything, and no one saw it coming. Can you imagine the exact moment the words left Harry's lips? 1 second, the room is tense but contained. The next, a single sentence cracks through the air like a cannon shot. I'm divorcing Meghan. Silence falls. Then chaos. The kind of chaos that isn't measured in noise but in the way time seems to stop, as if the universe itself is holding its breath. The press corps freezes. Advisors glance at each other in disbelief. Staff members quietly leave the room, phones clutched, eyes wide. And across the United Kingdom, millions of people feel it. Shock, confusion, a kind of helpless curiosity. How could this happen? Why now? And what does it mean for the family, the monarchy, and the very notion of what it means to be a royal in the 21st century? The announcement didn't happen in isolation. It was a carefully orchestrated moment, framed by cameras, whispers, and an undercurrent of tension that few outside the palace could sense. Yet it also felt raw, personal, and explosive in a way no prepared press statement could fully contain. Harry's voice, steady but tinged with emotion, carried across the room. He didn't scream. He didn't cry. He didn't beg. But every word landed like a hammer, shaping reality in a way that no one could undo. And the reaction? Immediate. Headlines flashed across screens. Royal marriage ends in shock announcement. Harry breaks silence. Divorce shocks UK. Duchess Meghan left reeling. Social media ignited. Trending hashtags multiplied by the second, and within moments, the story was no longer confined to newspapers or television. It belonged to everyone, everywhere, in real time. But let's step back for a moment. Why did Harry choose to announce this in public, in a way that guaranteed maximum exposure? Why not a private statement, a confidential letter, a quiet settlement behind palace doors? Perhaps it was a matter of control, a way to reclaim the narrative that the press and the monarchy had long dictated. Perhaps it was frustration, pent-up emotions spilling over after months, no years, of suppressed grievances. Or perhaps it was strategy, a calculated move to redefine his identity, his image, and his life on his own terms. What we do know is this: nothing about this announcement was accidental. Every pause, every syllable, every glance carried weight. And for those watching, it wasn't just the words themselves. It was the way Harry said them, the context, the timing, and the ripple effects that followed instantly. Consider the palace staff present that day. Many had served for decades, expecting royal announcements to follow protocol, to adhere to tradition, to maintain decorum. And then Harry shattered that expectation. It was almost cinematic. Advisors whispered frantically. Aides jotted notes that would immediately become part of palace records, and the security team adjusted their positions in real time, aware that the implications were far beyond anything protocol could prepare them for. For all the professionalism, for all the training, the human element crept in. Fear, surprise, confusion, a fleeting sense of betrayal. No one expected a royal divorce to be delivered like a revelation. An emotional bombshell detonated in public view. And outside the palace walls, the public reaction was immediate, raw, and unpredictable. Street interviews captured moments of disbelief. Elderly couples shaking their heads, teenagers staring at their phones with wide eyes, people repeating the words as if saying them aloud could make sense of them. Social media erupted. Memes, hot takes, conspiracy theories, and heartfelt sympathies clashed within seconds. For a moment, the UK, and indeed, much of the world, felt united in confusion and fascination. Why would Prince Harry take such a step? Was it revenge, truth, desperation, or a long-ignored breaking point? Each theory fueled conversation, speculation, and engagement, making this more than news. It became a cultural event, a story that demanded attention, debate, and reflection. Yet behind the public shock, there were undercurrents few could see. Whispers from palace insiders suggested a buildup of tension, arguments, and private confrontations. Those closest to Harry revealed that the Duke had been wrestling with internal turmoil for months, grappling with conflicting desires. Loyalty to the monarchy, love for Meghan, the burden of public expectation, and the personal need for freedom. The announcement, shocking as it was, represented the culmination of these pressures. It was not merely a statement. It was a declaration of agency, a break from the chains of tradition, and an expression of deeply felt emotions that had been simmering for years. And Meghan? Her reaction, at least publicly, was composed, controlled, almost eerily poised. She maintained her usual demeanor, her carefully curated public presence unshaken. But insiders paint a different picture: shock, betrayal, and the gnawing realization that her carefully managed public life had just collided with an unpredictable reality. She had expected challenges, tensions, media scrutiny, but nothing on this scale, nothing so sudden, nothing so devastating in its emotional immediacy. What does it take to maintain composure when your marriage, your image, and your future are declared over in front of cameras and microphones? Meghan managed to do it, at least outwardly, but inside, the storm was violent. This announcement also had global implications. Analysts across the world scrambled to interpret the meaning, speculate about consequences, and predict next moves. Every media outlet from London to New York to Sydney dissected the declaration. Tone, context, timing, and phrasing analyzed endlessly. Royal commentators debated. Was this a long-term strategic move or an impulsive act of emotion? Psychologists weighed in. How much does public scrutiny affect decision-making in the royal family? Economists even speculated about the financial fallout, from trust funds to property portfolios. The ripple effect was monumental, a single sentence producing waves that reached far beyond the immediate parties involved. And yet, amidst all the chaos, one question hovered above all others. What does this mean for the monarchy itself? For decades, the royal family has balanced tradition, duty, and public expectation. A sudden, public divorce, delivered by a high-profile royal, disrupts that balance. It challenges public perceptions, undermines carefully managed narratives, and opens the door to unprecedented scrutiny. More than that, it forces every member of the family to respond. Privately, publicly, and strategically, while navigating personal feelings and institutional responsibilities. Can a monarchy survive such shocks without fracturing? Can a royal marriage withstand public disclosure of private dissolution? And perhaps the most pressing question, can Harry survive this, personally, publicly, and emotionally, after taking a step that no one could anticipate?